What is going on, guys? So today I'm going to talk to you about why I'm not active duty. Now honestly, some of you right now are probably like, what? He's not active? And then there's some other people who are like, what? He's still in the military? And it's really funny because I get so many questions about people, asking me why I'm not active duty. And then I get a bunch of questions of people being like, are you still in the military? And I'm not really sure. And it's because I'm in the reserves, right? So I'm not in uniform every single day. And I'm gonna talk about in this video why I'm not active duty, just as if I'm kind of just like talking to somebody. So I'm not gonna go in depth about the 9,000 different reasons, because there's a lot of reasons of why I'm active duty. I'm just gonna kind of hit on the main points. But before I get into this video, if you guys like this t-shirt, right, and you want to get it for yourself, the link is going to be down in the description down below. You can go to my store, shopmw.store. That would really mean a lot to me. I'm paying for my wedding coming up here in a couple of weeks, and it's definitely a struggle to pay for a wedding by yourself. So that would really help me out a lot, and if you want to snag this cool t-shirt, that would be cool for you as well. Oh, and then also, I still have some of these coins left over. So if an order is over $75, I'll mail you out one of these coins myself personally with a letter. So the question that I get all the time is, why are you not active duty? Will you ever switch to active duty? And the answer is no, I'm not gonna switch to active duty ever in my current state of being, mind, and everything like that. So I don't ever plan on doing that in my career. Now, why am I active? Why is that the case? Now, the biggest reason, the biggest thing, right, that you have to ask yourself, and then I've answered for myself, is like, if I were to go active duty, like, what do I want to get out of that experience of being active duty? And for me, personally, this is a personal video. This isn't advice to you of why you should do active. This is me. What I want to get out of active duty would be deployments. I want to have that deployment experience. So when you're active on a day-to-day basis, it's kind of like a normal job and all that stuff. I don't desire to live that life right now currently. I more desire to go on a deployment. I can do that active duty, but the thing is you can also do that in the reserves. You can still get deployed in the reserves. You can still go overseas in the reserves. You can still do a lot of the things that you can do on active duty in the reserves. You're just not doing certain things every single day. You're not waking up in the mornings and going to PT. You're not having to deal with some of the stupid things that the Army has you do on a day-to-day basis. So that is something major that I want to accomplish or do in my military career, and that is getting deployed. I don't honestly really care where I actually get deployed to. I just want to go out of the country, overseas, do something like that, and then live that for 9 months or whatever the deployment time is, which I think the max is 9 months now. So that's what I want to do, and I can do that in the reserve. So looking at the active duty side of things now, I don't really see much that is like, oh, if you join active, you can do this, which you can't do in the reserves. And the only thing is you just live that active duty lifestyle with those things every single day that people complain about doing that are active duty. So I don't want to do that stuff. Now, you get some better benefits by being active duty. You don't have to pay for any health care and stuff whatsoever. I have to pay a very small amount, right? So if you're in the reserves or you're in the National Guard, you have a very small amount that you have to pay compared to normal civilians. So that's still not that big of a deal. And then there's other things that you do get from being active, but again, for me personally, it's not something that's gonna make me switch over. The other reason that I'm not active duty, and this would be kind of like a reason or something for y'all to think about, is like, what kind of career do you want? What are you passionate about? And I'm kind of like passionate about a couple of things. I'm passionate about the military, which is why I want to stay in the reserves for 20 years or over 20 years. It's why I want to get deployed. I'm passionate about that. I see no reason whatsoever of why I would get out of the military. And then at the same time, my civilian career, which if you didn't know, on the civilian side, I'm a software developer, and I also make these YouTube videos, so I'm like kind of like dually employed, or I'm self-employed and employed or whatever. But my civilian passion, I'm a tech guy, I'm a nerd, I like things like that. I like fitness and stuff. I tried personal training for a little bit, wasn't my thing, but technology, programming, whenever I went to college for that is my passion. That's really what I want to do for forever, right? So whenever I do my 20 years plus in the military, if and when I retire, I still want to be in the tech field. Like, this is what I want to do. So I'm kind of already doing really kind of like my life goal. I'm super lucky, happy, excited about that I get to be a software developer. I get to be in the Army Reserve specifically, and on top of that I get to make these YouTube videos, which is something I've been doing for almost 10 years now. So I'm kind of in a perfect space right now, and if I were to switch to active duty, if I were to be active duty right now, I couldn't do that. I couldn't have that civilian job as a programmer. I would have to do something, you know, in my spare time or whatever. Like, I would have to give up things in my life, which is crazy. Oh my gosh, you join the military, you have to give up things. But it's a little bit different. Like, I'm giving up some things by joining the Army Reserves, but then there's things that I don't want to give up by going active duty. I don't want to give up software development. I don't want to give up certain things. My fiance right now, Kelly, who will be my soon-to-be wife in a couple of weeks, you know, there ain't no way that she would want me to be active duty. So there are certain things that I don't want to give up if I were to switch to active duty. One of those things would definitely make Kelly really unhappy, right? It would make her more unhappy than it would make me unhappy. I know, you know, she dreads me deploying. Like, she doesn't like that. Whenever I go to my reserve drills and I can't see her for the weekend, she hates that. So, you know, for me, you know, I'm not married yet, but I will be in a couple of weeks. And whenever you do get married, you have to take what your spouse wants into account. They are kind of making decisions. You're making decisions for your life together. And so now it's not just me making a decision, it's also her making a decision with me. And that's also another thing against me going active duty, because that would just be even less time with her and the family. And that's not to say that if you are active duty, you're not going to see your family all that much. Like, that's not true, because again, when you're stateside active duty, it's kind of like a normal job, but there are going to be more circumstances where you're gone for 1 week, a couple of days, 2 weeks, things like that. And then depending on what unit you're in active, you might deploy more. And that is also not to say that reserve units and guard units don't deploy a lot. It is just really dependent upon what unit you're specifically in. For me as an officer, I didn't mention that in this video yet, but since I am an officer, I actually have it right here, which I will keep updated with my current rank, the second lieutenant rank that I have there. I will keep it updated. Gonna be a first lieutenant coming up here soon. But as an officer, it's a little bit different as well. The whole reserves and active duty kind of thing. I am really happy with my time in the reserves this far. I've been in the reserves for about 4.5 years, and of that time, I've got probably a year, somewhere between a year to a year and a half of that is like active duty time. And so the 3 to 3.5 years of reserve time I've had with 2 different units, I've loved it. Like, it's been you know, a great experience for me. You get to do a lot of things, and the thing that people don't realize in the reserves is if you kind of have that go-getter attitude, if you really want to do things, if you want to go to some extra trainings, just like little things every now and then, you don't have to just stick to and abide by the 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year thing. Like, you can up that a little bit. You're not gonna be doing stuff all the time unless you switch to AGR, but you can go to additional trainings if you are, you know, a good soldier, if you're a go-getter, if you wanna do those things. So some opportunities are still there for you, but in the reserves, you can work around your civilian life, whereas active duty, it is the military first, then your personal life second. In the reserves, it's honestly your personal life first, then the military second, okay? So that's something that you gotta really think about. And then one of the last things I wanna mention that I did say at the beginning of this video, that I would never go active duty. The only thing that I would ever really do, like if I were to get laid off at work on my civilian job, or if YouTube were to go under and I were to just like lose whatever for a little period of time, the Army Reserves has this little thing called AGR, and that's basically when a drilling reservist, so the reservist who goes to drill 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year, they go AGR, which basically means that they're now active in the reserves. And so you're going in to your unit every single day just as if you're active duty, like basically the same thing. But it'll be a little bit different because it's in a reserve unit, but it's basically active, so you're getting active duty pay. So for me personally, if I were to get laid off, if YouTube were to go under, like I would do that before I really did anything else. I wouldn't switch to active duty. I would more so switch to AGR and be a platoon leader, or I would be like the S6 like I am currently right now. I'm a battalion S6. So to me personally, that's what I would do. So I wouldn't switch to active duty. I'm not active duty. I wouldn't ever be active duty in the future. If I were to do anything, it would be AGR. That would be something that I could do, like a 6-month or a year kind of AGR contract to do that. And maybe if I did enjoy that, which I don't see myself doing that, but if I did, then I could just, you know, do that. And the last little bit that I want to talk about here is, if you're wondering why I didn't actually go active to start, I have talked about that in a really old video, and that's why I'm in the Army Reserves. If you look at that video, maybe I'll tag it or something. But I kind of go into detail more so of the enlistment process for me. But now that I'm in and I've experienced the military, I've experienced the Army Reserves, I know more so of the military, right? So I've been doing these things, I've been sharing experiences with y'all, and from my experience, from my personal self, I'm not going to switch to active duty. And so that's kind of why in this video, why I'm currently not going to switch to active duty or be active duty, why I'm not active duty right now. And so those are the current reasons. The reasons why I enlisted reserves, the reason why I did ROTC, and then I commissioned as an Army Reservist, and I chose to do that, those are a little bit different. I enlisted with the intention or the possibility of switching to active duty if that was something that I wanted to do. And that is something that I kind of recommend if you're kind of cautious about the whole deal of the military and stuff. I wanted to go to college and everything first before joining the military. I wish I would have joined the military reserve or the Army Reserves before doing freaking 3 years of college, but we all make mistakes, okay? So we all make mistakes, but basically I wanted to join the Army Reserves, finish college to be an officer, and at some point in time I was like, you know, well, if I really enjoy this, if I want to go to active duty, that opportunity was always there. And then now I'm at a point where I am a commissioned officer, I am about to be a first lieutenant, and I really enjoy my job, my civilian job, my military job, you know, doing YouTube videos. I love the freedoms that the Army Reserves gives you and allows you to work around things. And then with active duty, at this current point in my life, active duty just doesn't offer enough to pull me over to the active side of things, because the first thing that I talked about, the main thing that I want to do in the military would be a deployment, okay? So a deployment, aside from going to like airborne school and things like that, that's something that I want to do, and I will have not felt accomplished in the military unless I at least get deployed once. Like, oh my goodness, we're not deploying that much right now, but I mean, if I at least get just deployed once, that's how probably most people feel. You will feel more accomplished in the military, and I can get that in the Army Reserve. So finishing that out with the number one reason, just reiterating it or whatever. But I hope you guys enjoy just, you know, me talking to you about just why I'm not active duty, a little bit about why I joined the reserves, and kind of going in the spiel of my circumstances, because everybody's circumstances are going to be different, okay? So just let me get that straight. Your circumstance is going to be different than my circumstance. If you hate your job, if you hate your civilian job, and then the reserves, and you're just like, well, the reserves isn't enough for me, okay, well then switch to active duty. But for my circumstance, me, okay, for my circumstance, this is why I am not active duty. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. That would be awesome. Please check out more of my videos. Hit that subscribe button. That would be even better. Follow me on Instagram and Snapchat if you haven't already. Pick up this merch in the merch store. Link down in the description down below. I hope you all have an amazing freaking day, and I'll see y'all later.